This video is going to be different. Recently, I received a comment on one of my videos. It was the video of avoidant, insecure, anxious behavior and attachment. And I received a comment on that video from somebody, no names, I don't even know this person. But the comment said, yeah, sure, I mean, fear is just fear. Why bother? Just don't give a ish about it, especially if your unconscious told you your whole life to give a damn about it. Just stop. Easy peasy. No, it does not help. And I've never seen such a useless video like this one. Before I dive into anything, let me just say that I am aware that based on this comment, whoever this person is, I don't know them, but based on the comment, they are both triggered and reactive. It's not good or bad or right or wrong, it's just where they are. I accept people where they are. That's the way that it works. This channel is all about personal development, and oftentimes personal development can be exceedingly difficult. Absolutely. First and foremost, before I dive into the other parts of this that I will absolutely look at, what I'm going to say is that the extent to which you can know another person, the extent to which you can know other, is entirely based around how well you know yourself. That's the reality of it. I know myself exceedingly well. I am not triggered or reactive. I'm not triggered by this or reactive to it. I see it for what it is. I see a person that is, and it is sad, a person, again, I don't know them, that is broken. I see a person that is triggered by something that I said, and I understand that my content can be triggering. It can be direct. I'm aware of that. I'm well aware of that. I offer people an opportunity to look at themselves, and it's not an easy endeavor at all. It isn't. But again, I know myself very well. I know the quality of my content while simultaneously understanding that the things that I say can be triggering. They can be direct. And I do the best that I can to remain, empathetic and compassionate towards people. I am human. Just like everyone else. I am human. That's the reality of it. But I know myself very well. I have boundaries. And with that, I understand that what this person is saying has nothing to do with me and everything to do with where they are on their journey. Let's look at fear. Let's look at invalidation. Let's look at a fucked up childhood that invalidated the fucking obliterated a person into such unfortunate reactivity, and with that reactivity, defense mechanisms that stop you from looking at yourself. Personal development requires you to look at yourself. Personal development requires you to be present with yourself and to do things that are not easy. And when I say to do things that are not easy, I'm referring to work on yourself. Fear, when it enters your system, is very real. It is. It stops you from doing things. Absolutely. It stops you from further pursuing something. It doesn't matter what it is. It stops you from making decisions that could change your life for the better. Fear is something that halts a lot of people on their journey and actually just stagnates them. When your entire body is communicating to you that there is something off with a situation or in the environment, it's healthy to listen to it. Let's look at a person's intuition. Your intuition can communicate fear, while simultaneously understanding that in an unhealthy childhood, your intuition was probably, I'm not trying to gaslight anybody, your intuition was probably invalidated. Whatever it was that you felt in childhood was probably invalidated. When your intuition communicated to you, no, danger, there's something about this that is fucked up, there were a bunch of simultaneously fucked up people that invalidated the fuck out of what it was that you were feeling. You learned to not trust yourself. Actually, let me dive into something that I think will be very important to understand. I made a video on narcissism, narcissistic relationships, and the severe fucking challenges of getting out of narcissistic relationships. Something that I want to communicate in this video that I think is very important to understand is a person's capacity to trust themselves, to believe in themselves, to be so connected to themselves, their intuition, whatever it is that they are feeling inside, that has probably previously been not only invalidated, but fucking obliterated. Understanding that in a survival-based childhood with fight, flight, freeze, fawn, the likelihood, especially in the far more severe cases, that you were obliterated as a person was very high. The reason why I appreciate getting comments like this is because it allows me the opportunity to explore things that maybe I wouldn't otherwise. In the survival-based childhood, you learned that you couldn't trust yourself. You learned that your intuition that was communicating fear to you was not to be listened to. And then what happened when the intuition that communicated fear to you was ignored? Even more unhealthy and fucked up things. When you tried to communicate to somebody that you think that, or you felt the feeling, the intuition was communicating to you, you felt that something was off or fucked up about the person, and your insight based on your intuition was invalidated by whoever. Oh, you learned to not trust yourself. You learned to not trust the healthy fear based on actual danger that was present. There is a difference between fear that pops up to keep you safe as a defense mechanism against feeling pain because you have a belief that you are unworthy, and if you do something that requires you to believe that you are worthy, you're going to enter some type of oblivion that doesn't make sense. There's a difference between the fear that as a defense mechanism keeps you safe and fear of actual present danger. When your ego state learned that you are unworthy, which is just a belief, and it is also untrue. When you learned a belief in your ego state that you are unworthy, there is a defense mechanism that comes with that over time that you learned from a very early age. And that defense mechanism is essentially fear of staying away from anything that does not equate to the unworthiness. If it spells out worthy, you steer clear of it. Because it is unsafe for the learned ego state with all of the marring and scathing of unworthiness to explore that. Because it doesn't compute. You are unworthy. It's not true. But that is what your inner dialogue is communicating to you. It is healthy to learn that you are worthy because you are, internally, not based on anything out there. It is unhealthy to have your intuition communicate fear and danger and not listen to it, because you've been invalidated by people that were also invalidated by people that were also invalidated. You get the picture, I hope. Fear is real. It is there. You can listen to it. It is real. It is valid. Maybe you were invalidated from a very early age, and that was just the beginning of a treacherous fucking shit show of so much fucking invalidation that you learned that you almost don't even exist. Fear is real. Letting go of all these dynamics like that, I would love for people to be able to do it. I would love for people to be able to open up their eyes and be like, oh wow, all of these unhealthy people around me. Let's see it for what it is. It's different for different people. For many people, it's not easy. For many people, letting go of fear is not easy. Even if it's fear that is communicating that there's actually a threat in the environment, and you choose to continue to stay in a situation with somebody that is exceedingly fucked up and unhealthy and even dangerous for you. It could place your life in danger. Listen to yourself. You can trust yourself. Whatever it is that you're feeling, it's real. I will absolutely validate that. That is a very real situation. Everything in your inner universe is real. You may have learned a belief based on people that lack healthy boundaries and projected themselves onto you, that you shouldn't listen to yourself, that you can't listen to yourself, that whatever it is that you're saying or feeling is invalid. It's sad, it's unfortunate, it's fucked up. It's in and of itself boundary violations. One of the most important things on this journey of healing, this journey of personal development, is learning to trust yourself. When you learn to trust yourself, you can do the best that you can for yourself, the actual best that you can for yourself. Whether it's trusting your intuition when it communicates to you what to and what not to do, trusting yourself when you feel like a relationship does not serve you because it is actually boundary violating and abusive. Fear can be a safety defense mechanism to keep you trapped inside of a reality of unworth because you don't believe that you are worthy, and anything that tries to come into your life that speaks and communicates worth, the fear defense mechanism is going to try to keep you safe and try to keep you away from that. That is not healthy, but that requires you to understand that you are actually worthy. Worthy of healthy, not broken love. Worthy of healthy relationships. Worthy of a healthy relationship with yourself. It's very important to understand these things. It is. And again, I know myself very well. Very, very well. And because of that, I see people for who they are, where they are. When you do the work on yourself, you become less both triggered and reactive. The gift to be able to see everything for what it is and not be triggered and reactive is quite a beautiful one. But that requires you to do the work on yourself. It does. That's the reality of it. So I don't take personal offense from any of this stuff because I know myself very well and I see other very well. None of this is good or bad or right or wrong. It just shows me where people are. I know my worth. I know my quality. I know myself very well. And also notice simultaneously that throughout this video, my energy dynamic has been balanced, at least I would say. I'll end off this video by saying that this is what this channel is all about, is me presenting people with an opportunity to look at themselves, and while simultaneously understanding with empathy and compassion that it is not an easy endeavor. It's not. Looking at yourself is very challenging, especially when you have internal wounds that, like, if you were to, boop, like, the very reality that a fucking explosion with real and severe fallout could take place is absolutely the reality of this. Being triggered and reactive is entirely, or a lack thereof, is entirely based around the work that a person has done on themselves. It is. You will only be triggered and reactive to the extent, or I should say also a lack thereof, to the extent of how much work you've done on yourself. The more work you do on yourself, the less triggered and reactive you will be, because that requires you to be aware of yourself. Yeah. So again, just to recap, I'm not at all offended by any of the things that this person said. I'm not about to go on a rant of, oh, you're so disrespectful, you should be more careful of what you say to people. I'm good. I'm not offended by any of this stuff. I see it for what it is. And that is the very thing that I wish for everybody else. Seeing it for what it is. Because again, if you do not see everything for what it is, in yourself, in people, you will be confused and distracted by what it's not.